Social media has caused people to become more invested in their opinions because they're giving them more often. Can logic save your life? Absolutely can, folks. Philosophers have been studying sentience for millennia. Sentience is just the idea of we're feeling beings. Human beings are feeling. We prefer happiness over misery, over sadness, over pain. So this is about how to not be a prisoner of political ideas anchoring in your psyche. And social media has impacted people a whole lot where they get so invested in their opinions that they can't see that some of their positions that they're adopting are so contrary to their own happiness and well-being. So we're going to just take a quick look at this. So as an assessment of an argument, we're just going to look at two basic premises and then see what you would recommend. And it's in the form of this. If I do X, it will get me killed. I don't have to do X. So there's basic life choice right there. We make these on a daily basis in more ways than we know. Like we're driving behind the wheel of the car. Should I stop at this stop sign? Should I stop at this red light at the busy intersection? If I just plow right through it, it'll get me killed or put in jail or some variation thereof. So we stop at the light. We do this regularly. Don't question it. But when it comes to our opinions, beliefs, things that we're promoting, sometimes it takes on a different flavor. So I'll give a couple of examples. If I dive from this cliff into the water below, I will hit rocks and die. I don't have to dive from these cliffs. Now, what would you recommend to somebody? Your friend, a child, an acquaintance, even somebody you don't even know? Would you recommend that they dive from those cliffs? Generally speaking, no. We would say don't do it. Second example, if I put a bald-faced hornet's nest right in front of my doorway, I will get stung, swarmed, and die because I am highly allergic to hornets. I don't have to put a bald-faced hornet's nest in front of my door. Now, what would you recommend to the person? You'd say, do not put, that's idiotic. What are you, nuts? Don't do that. So these are obvious examples that are non-politically motivated. Now, here's the third example. If I lived in the West Bank or Gaza, I would be killed due to my sexual orientation. I don't have to live in the West Bank or Gaza or move there. Now, what would you recommend to that person? It really doesn't make any sense for you. It's contrary to your survival instincts to be supporting the notion of that which will get you injured or killed. So because we are sentient creatures, and there is that almost universal sense among human beings, don't do something that's harmful to yourself. We say, don't do it. Don't do that thing. Like when we watch movies and there's a shock to us that something happens out of the blue, you're like, oh my gosh, like that child got hurt or injured, whatever. And we have that like instinctive reaction. And it's the same way though, where if we just take a little bit more time to think about things, then we can be more consistent with our own humanity. But where we go off the rails is when we're so invested in an ideology. It could be an economic ideology, a political ideology, a religious ideology, any type of ideology where we're all or nothing. We can't question any single part of it. I used to run in a fundamentalist Christian circle a couple of decades ago where just asking a question about something that you had been taught would get you ostracized. And that didn't work for me at all. I was just like, this sort of oppression did not work for me. So I was like, well, if this is what being part of this group leads to, I don't want a part of this group. I have to be able to ask questions about things. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's what friendship is based on in part, where we accept one another. So sort of the political climate today is so charged that where if you even consider another person's viewpoint or talk with somebody who's from a contrary, the other political party, for example, that you're looked upon suspiciously, this is a very dangerous slope that people are sliding on. And that's where, like, I'm in the middle. When I look at arguments and I look at positions, I say, there are people who are in the opposite political party as me that make more sense on certain things that I do, and I consider it. Or there are people who are atheists or theists or whatever that make good arguments. Arguments have to stand on the basis of the argument, not on who is making them. But if we instinctively support something or destroy a position or take the opposite position because we don't like the people who are making it, then we've lost our footing. We've lost our psychological footing. We've lost the benefit of what reason and thinking can do for us. So just thinking a little bit more dispassionately can even, any position you take, you could put it into that simple syllogism, that simple structure. We've got two premises. If I do this, then this will happen. I don't have to do this. Then you can decide what you want to argue for, if you will, or support or not support. But it is one way in which you don't have to be a victim, so to speak, of the current social media. And the climate that we live in now, people have always been politically charged and invested in their opinions, but I don't think it's to the extent they are today, because for the last 10 or 15 years, social media has caused people to become more invested in their opinions because they're giving them more often. And if when we can see that something would lead to our death, we should not support it. I don't speak in normatives that often, but a normative is using words like ought to, you should do this. But I think just as a matter of humanity, the notion of supporting something that would bring about our death, whether it's cliff diving, skydiving, putting a hornet's nest in front of us, driving a motorcycle at 180 miles an hour on a public road, or whatever, these are very bad ideas. So you decide how far you want to take it with your own political ideas or religious ideas or any kind of ideas. All right, guys, leave your comments. I read them. Have a great day. Let reason be your guide. Let heart and compassion be somewhat of your own guide, compassion toward others and yourself. And we'll go from there. See you on another video, and keep thinking philosophically.